Okay, let's start. So fallow land means that this is your land. In this land, you took, for example, normally the people are taking, let's say, 2 crops in 1 year, but you cultivated some crops and you took 4 crops in 1 year. Then when you try to form or try to cultivate another crop, you found that the crop did not grow well. Okay. Then you took a sample of this crop to a lab, and the lab you found that all the nutrients which are used for the plant growth, they are less than required. And what is the reason? Because you took a lot of crops from that. So then they will advise you, okay, they will advise you leave this land without cultivating anything, leave it empty for just like maybe 6 months or maybe 1 year, like this. And after that you can grow it again, the crops, because the soil has a property, automatically it will adjust all its nutrients within this time. But if you can't wait and you said no, I want to cultivate, so then you will use fertilizers. And you know what is the fertilizer? Fertilizers are, you can say, man-made things, are man-made nutrients which are used for the soil to give them the sufficient amount of all the required nutrients. So then you can use that one. So that is the main definition about the fallow land. Okay. After that, they're saying what are the advantages of crop rotation? When you're rotating the crops, what are the advantages of that one? They're saying diseases in the soil affecting the plant are left behind, because if there is a disease, and that disease only for wheat, as I told you before, and next time you will not, you can say, crop the wheat, you will put rice or you put cotton, like this. So that disease which is only for wheat, if the wheat will not be cultivated, automatically it will finish. So like this, it is used to decrease the number of diseases. Pests need to find a new site. Okay, as these pests mean these insect and other things, they have to go to another place where they can find the desired crop. The soil in the new plot is likely to have the essential nutrients, because if you are just changing the, you can say, for, as I told you before, you have the wheat, you crop the wheat, and now this crop, the wheat took nitrogen more, but it did not take potassium and phosphorus more. Now what you will do, if you will do cotton here, and then that cotton doesn't need nitrogen much, it needs mainly potassium. So at that way the nitrogen can be fixed slowly, because the cotton is not using, it's using potassium. The next, let's say maybe you're putting vegetable, and that vegetable need phosphorus. So in the meantime, when you are doing the vegetables, the amount of potassium and nitrogen will be restored, and after again you can go for wheat. Like this is a crop rotation. So by this way the nutrients amounts in the soil will be fixed with the time. After that, the crops ready to harvest. Harvest means when you take the crops are ready, so you will cut them at different times, less potential waste, less labor and machinery needed. For example, what is this? Let's say you did the rice crop in your field, and now you want to do rice again. You know that rice needs lot of water, and rice needs very soft soil. So if you did the rice and when the rice is ready, you cut them, the land become hard, okay, and less water will be there. If again you want to cultivate the rice, so you have to prepare this land again for the rice. You have to make it soft, you have to bring a lot of labor to work here, and you have to again arrange a lot of water for the rice. So it takes money, it takes labor, it takes time. So instead of rice, again you can put like wheat. It doesn't need that much of soft soil, so you can do that one. So by this way you can reduce the amount of labor, amount of money by just rotating the crops. Okay, after that, these are the rotation. These, whenever you are talking about these pictures I am adding to make the things easy for you. Okay, these pictures is we will not find in your book or syllabus, but I just took it from internet and from other resources. You can also find them. It is just to make the things easy to understand. Okay, now you can see here, now 1 year rotation. Okay, 1 year rotation means you can take maize, then mustard, rice, wheat. You can do like this in 1 year. It means how many crops you have? 4 crops here. Understand? So it means if you are doing the maize now, so it will after 1 year again you can do it. For example, 3 months, 3 months, 3 months, 3 months. So after 1 year you can do it. But if you are using more crops like mustard, sugarcane, fenugreek, maize, potato, sugarcane, like this. If you are doing like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 3 months, 3 months, 3 months, 3 months, 3 months, 3 months. So this maize, it will come after 2 years, because first you will do maize, then this. Again, when you cultivate, it will be 2 years time, and 3 years like this. So what they are doing, they are just adding the number of crops. So this is like a crop rotation method. Understand or not? Please tell me.
Yes.
Okay, now fertilizers. What are the fertilizers? As I told you that fertilizers contain minerals such as nitrogen, potassium, and phosphorus. When you add them, because when you are taking too many crops from there, and even after some time when you're taking the crops from a soil, so automatically you will find the deficiency of the nutrients like nitrogen, potassium, and phosphorus. To improve that deficiency, or to just give the nitrogen and potassium back to the soil, you need the fertilizers. You need the fertilizers. Now we will see that there are two types of the fertilizers. One is organic and other is inorganic. Everyone has advantages and everyone has disadvantages. Okay, now for example, organic, which you can prepare from waste of animals, leaves, all these mean the living things, they can also use to produce fertilizer. Farmers do that one. But if you can prepare in a factory, okay, in a company, that is inorganic. What are the advantages of organic? Uses natural resources. As I told you, they are made by waste of plants and animals, so they are all natural. Supplies organic material, so you will not find any harmful thing in them, and they will not affect to your crops. Disadvantages: unpleasant to handle. It means the waste of the plants and animals, it has very bad smell, so you cannot handle it. Means it looks very bad when you are using them, the farmer using them. Harder to transport. because they are just like the waste, and they are difficult to move from one place to another. Variable composition, because you are preparing is like a roughly, you took waste of animals, you took waste of plants, and you just mix them randomly. So you are not sure about the percentage of nitrogen, potassium, or phosphorus. You cannot predict them. They can be more, they can be less. So this is one of the disadvantages. Understand or not? Please tell me.
Yes.
Okay, good. Khalafullah. What about Lean, Miral, all other people?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Ola is there? Hello, Ola is there or not? I don't think so. Okay. After that, you have the inorganic. Inorganic, as I told you, that they are prepared by the factories or companies. So what are advantages? They meet a particular need. You will find the fertilizers, for example, ammonium nitrate. This will give you nitrogen. You will take a sample of the soil, and from that they will tell you which mineral is less in the soil. Let's say nitrogen is less. Now, if nitrogen is less, you have two type of the you can say fertilizers. One is ammonium nitrate. From the formula you can say it give you lot of nitrogen. Other is iron phosphate. It is, you know, that giving you phosphate. So if a soil need nitrogen, which is good for that, ammonium nitrate or iron sulfate? Tell me.
Excuse me, sir. Can you repeat the question again?
I'm saying that this is the field of a farmer. The farmer took a sample of a soil from here, and he took it to the lab. In the lab, they tested the soil and they said that nitrogen is less in this soil. Now farmer want to fix the amount of nitrogen. So he has to use fertilizer. Now he has two type of fertilizer. A, ammonium nitrate, in which he has nitrogen a lot. B, fertilizer, he has iron phosphate, in which he has iron and phosphate. Now, what do you think, which fertilizer he should use to fix the nitrogen, A or B?
Ammonium nitrate. A.
Ammonium nitrate, A. So like this, meet a particular need. Whatever you need particularly, according to that, you will choose the fertilizer. No need. In the organic, this is not clear how much amount each fertilizer has, but here it is clear. And according to your need, you can choose your fertilizer. Understand? Okay. Now, quick acting. Now, the inorganic, they are quick acting. For example, inorganic, quick acting means you can say very fast they improve the soil. Whereas this one, the inorganic, so organic, they, what they are, they, you can say, take a lot of time. Organic, they take a lot of time, more time. But this is a one of disadvantages. What? Because if you are using inorganic fertilizer in your field and rain come, so it will take all your fertilizer, mean the water will leach out and wash out all the fertilizers. But if it is organic, it cannot take it easily. Then slow acting, they are not slow acting. Okay, they have immediate effect, no need to reapply. You cannot use again and again. So it is just like the giving the comparison between the organic and inorganic fertilizers. After that, irrigation. Irrigation means supplying water to the crops. That is known as irrigation. Irrigation is very important because the plant, they need water very essentially. Okay, and even for the cell activity, it is required. For photosynthesis is required. The minerals and other things, they with the water they go into the plant and even into the soil. Water must be free from pollution and low in salt. You cannot use seawater for the crops because it has a lot of salts. You can use only the river water for that purpose. So this is irrigation, means supplying water to the plants. Now we will study about that, how you can supply the water into the plants, and you can divide it into the 3 stages. Number 1, first of all, you should store the water. You will make this type of the thing is used where you don't have continuous supply. But if you are near a river, or you have a system of canal, or you have water pumps, so no need to store the water. From river, from canal, from the ground, you can use that one. But if you are living in an area where you have to depend only on rainwater, so the people make the tank and they store the rainwater and they can use it according to their need. After that, you have to transport the water to the required site. For example, if this is a river and your fields are here, so you need a channel from there to there. It can be a stream or canal, it can be an underground pipe, so you can put the water there. After that, application of water. How you will apply the water in the field. There are different methods how you can apply the water to the field. We will discuss them today, inshallah. So here, number 1 is overhead sprinkles. It is like this. So you will use these sprinkles, and from the top, the water comes and it comes on the crop. This is one of them. This is one method. But for this, it has some advantages and disadvantages also. Number 1, it is easy to set up, means once you set up, then you can use it for a long time, can cover a large area from one sprinkle. For example, here you can see if the water comes from here, then spread all this area. No need to attach pipes to each plant. So then down, no need to put a pipe to each plant. From up, it can sprinkle all over the plant. But number 1, the large droplets may cap the soil. Cap the soil, you know, cap the soil, anyone? Cap the soil means soil become harder. Cap means some layer comes on the soil and soil become harder. So there is can be small droplets, maybe they will go with the air. For example, you are using the air comes, droplets so small, it will take them. Maybe water lands on the leaves and will not go down to the roots. And on the leaves, it can evaporate quickly. So these are the advantages and disadvantages of one of the method of irrigation. What is the name of that method? Overhead sprinkles. Okay, sprinkler. Now we will use this one. You can see other pictures also. It can be like this also, and it can be like this also. All they are sprinkling the water. After that, you have the clay pot irrigation system. So this is quite interesting. You will take a pot, it is made of clay, okay? You will fill with water, and you can see all these are the fixed, and then all around it you will grow the plants. And because clay, from the clay water can evaporate outside and water can go to the soil, so this pot will give the plant, you can say, the water to the plants which are near to it, from down from the roots. We will see how it will give. So this is one of them, but it can be used only for a small scale, not for the large fields. Maybe you can use in your garden or some type of vegetables only. Advantages: simple technology, easy to check the amount of water. If you want to check water is there or not, just remove this cap and check how much water. High efficiency. By this way, water will not be wasted. After that, disadvantage: only suitable for permanent plants. If you want to have a plant and it will remain here, then you can use it. If the plant after 3 months, it will be, you have to remove it or you have to change its place or you put another, then it can be, can say, not good. Labor cost: you have to fix them like this. It takes a lot of labor. They have to dig the hole, then they have to put it down, then they have to put the plants only around it, then you have to check every day or the after 1 week the amount of water. So it is like take a lot of labor. And how does it work? You can see here. Now this is the down part of this pot, and from here the water can go out to the roots, and you can say it's going slowly. Roots are really good. They do not take extra water. They take only whatever they need. And when they need, then they can take water again. So there's no wastage here. They are saying it is 10 times more efficient, this method, than other method of irrigation. But as I said that it has a labor cost and other disadvantages. So the people will decide according to their need. So this is the second method, that is known as clay pot irrigation system. After that, you have trickle drip system. Trickle drip system, see here, they put a pipe to each, near to each plant. See here, this one pipe is going, and here they have a hole for each plant. So water go to the pipe and then drips from each plant like this. You can see here also. So it is also has some advantages and disadvantages. Number one, the advantage: water placed directly at the base of the plant. You can see water comes directly at that area. Automated and controlled via computer. You can control it by computer, that whenever you want to start the water, so it will come, otherwise it will not come. Water is used very efficiently. Also, it will stop the wastage of water. Disadvantage is expensive to install. It will take a lot of money, the pipes, the system, and all these things. And also maintain. You have to check regularly. Maybe any hole is closed due to anything. After that, yes, grit, it's a type of a blockage. It can be any fungi or it can be soil, sand, which can stop the tubes. Inflexible, cannot be moved easily. Once you build it, it's very difficult to move from one place to another place. So there are some advantages and disadvantages of this one. And the whole system, you can check now, it works like this. This is also the animation. And this is also a picture. You see how the pipe is going and the plants, you can, how getting the water. And the whole system works like this. Here you can see this is the pump, This is a well from water source. Instead of well, maybe you can have a river, or you can take the underground water. Okay, it's both of them. Then from there, it is coming to this part after filtration. Then it's a sand filter. It will stop the sand, and then water comes, and then it goes in all these areas. So this is the how does it works. After that, flood irrigation. Normally in our countries like Sudan, Pakistan, they're using this type. So this what they will do, from one side, they will allow the water to enter, and slowly, slowly it will go to all the parts of the land. Advantage is inexpensive, means not expensive. No need to install anything. Just make the way for the water, it will enter. It can cover the large area quickly. Yes, it can be. But insufficient use of water, a lot of water is wasted. Damage the soil structure. Also, sometime when the water is going, it will take away the soil with it. So this is the fourth method. You can see here. This is all flood irrigation. Okay. Now, another method, how you can grow the yield, how you can increase the product of the crop. That one is control of competing organisms. Now, if you have, for example, this is the wheat plant. Let's say this is the plant of a wheat. But here you will find different type of small herbs, or you can say small plants. They are known as competing organisms. Understand? So whenever the water comes or fertilizers comes, the wheat plant take them, and also these take them. Maybe they take more than the wheat. So you have to control them. You have to remove them. Then your plant can grow well. All the nutrients, all the fertilizers you are giving, it will go to your crop, not to these extra things. And sometime, for example, you have a crop, let's say this is the field, this is your wheat plant. Here you have a big tree. That tree stops sunlight, stops sometime other, you can say, nutrients taking from here. Also, it's a competing organism. Anything which is taking the nutrients for your crop, from your crop, that is known as competing organisms. So how you can control them? There are different methods. Number one, that competing crop with the for the light, water, and nutrients, okay, they reduce the quality. These are their effects. Okay, maybe they are poisonous, maybe they make your cultivation difficult, can block the drainage system, can be source of pests, maybe the pests and other disease they can produce. So like this you have to do. Sometimes they have kind of advantages also. There are, you can divide the, you can say, these competing organisms in different categories. One of them is herbicides. What is a herbicide? Herbicide, see here, the chemical control of a weeds is the most efficient system for a large area. Weed killing chemicals are known as herbicides. Weeds are the small plants in the crops which are unnecessary, I mean you don't need them. So you can do that type of the chemical that is known as herbicides. We will see now them in detail, what is herbicide and what are their advantages and what are disadvantages. Advantages of herbicides: easier to manage, alternatives may be less effective, they are cheaper, results are more predictable, less labor needed, effect is more rapid. That is herbicides. Disadvantages. Okay, first we will see the advantage. Okay, now alternative methods. Let's say you cannot use herbicides, you cannot use chemicals. So what are the alternative methods? What are the alternative methods to remove these weeds and other small plants? Number one is hand weeding and hoeing. Means with the hand you will remove them. So now you have two choices. Either you will use herbicides, means like chemicals, they are in the form of sprays, or you can use your hand to remove these type of plants. Okay, this is one of the methods. Other method, you can use this type of plastic sheet. Now this type of plastic sheet, it will not allow the, you can say, the weeds to grow and come out. It is stopped, and moreover it will stop the light for them. These are the plants, good, they can get everything, but other, they will not get anything which are nearby them. So after some time, they will, after maybe for weeks, 2 weeks, they will survive. After that, they will die under this one. So only your plants, they can grow. This is another method. So that's known as weed barriers. You will put a barrier, mean this plastic sheet is a form of a barrier you put. This is another method. Like this is sometime you use in your garden, and sometime maybe you notice that near the roads and on the railway track, you will find the concrete small stones. They also decrease the amount of these the small type of the plants. After that, flame guns. Sometimes flame guns are used. Before you will cultivate your crop, you will put a flame, and that flame will burn all the unnecessary plants which is not required in the form of weeds. Okay, so this is a large scale, and even it's a small area, you can do this one. Now they are just burning that small weeds. You can see here they have, and here he has already burned. See the difference here and here. So this is another method. Okay. Now, after that, you are using the controlling the pest. As we said that you're using the pesticides and herbicides, you're using that one. So this is a special type of sprays or chemicals. They are used to kill the insects. So that's known as an insecticide. This is pesticides. That is only just like animals that attack and they feed upon the crop plant. For example, this is a crop plant. This is the root and this is the plant. Some of insects, the animals or insects come on them and they start eating the plant. So they are using them. So they are known as pesticide. Okay. So pest is an animal and side means to kill it. Like we are saying suicide, like that. So side means to kill. So something used to kill the pest, that's known as pesticide. So here these are in the market, they are found in this packing. So you can find them. And each pesticide has a different, you can say, type, that it is used for some type of the pest and this is used for some type. So according to your need, you will choose it. Now insecticides, it is used for insects. Even at your home, you are using this one to kill even the flies, to mosquitoes, that one. Sometimes they are dangerous for the crops also, So you will use them insecticides. Now, there is disease you can see, like a crop disease caused by fungi. You see this one, or virus or bacteria, then it will be like this. Okay, the fungi, bacteria, and viruses, they are known as pathogens. So one of them, pathogen, can cause like this, and for that you will use this type of spray, copper. In the exam, they will not ask this one, this spray is used for what. I'm just giving the example and the disease, how they look like.
So your sound is like. So your sound is lagging.
Okay, can you hear me now? Can you hear me clearly now? Hello? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Now, for example, if you don't want to use the chemicals, you don't want to use insecticide and pesticides, so what are other ways how you can control them? So they are known as biological control. Biological control, they are saying that natural enemies of insects. For example, there are some animals, they eat insects. So you can use them. You can see here. They have given the names of the different insects they are using and who are killing. Okay, birds, spiders, wasps, they can take this one, dragonfly. So they can come and they can eat also the insects. So they can also, but it is quite difficult to arrange these type of the things. So mostly the sprays, they are used. Less than 1 minute is left. So after that you have, if the meeting will finish, please join again. Advantages and disadvantages. Now, if you are using, for example, this one, biological control, so what are the advantages? That no chemical residues are left in the crop, no impact of sprays to surrounding, you can say, ecosystem, no need for pre-application. The predators will die automatically when they will kill all the, you can say, insects they will kill, nothing is left, they will die.